Be sure to check out my latest video, Kicking It Old School, where I show you some old schools that's in my collection, as well as some old schools that I have picked up on my latest haul. You guys and girls be safe out there. Peace. What's up, comic book peeps? Welcome to another episode of Direct Edition. The channel is Fred Hall Direct Edition. And today I'm just going to be showing you, saying another haul that I got. But before I show you the haul, I just wanted to kind of show you, some of my favorite Apocalypse book. You have the Amazing X-Men. That is Storm and Quicksilver on the front, as well as Dazzler, Banshee, Iceman, and I forget who that is flying. And then you have the book where Apocalypse actually attacks Magneto and steals Magneto's son, him and Rogue's son. Then you have the X-Men Chronicles. That's actually the guy on the front cover. His name is actually Wolverine, because Wolverine's name in the Age of Apocalypse is Weapon X. The cool thing about Wolverine and Weapon X is he actually went into Apocalypse ship after the Age of Apocalypse, and he actually ended up ascending to the throne of Apocalypse. So that was pretty cool that Wolverine ended up becoming like the next Apocalypse, or the next celestial choice. The next two books are, some of my favorite. I haven't completed this run. There's one book that I'm missing. This is Apocalypse versus Dracula. If you ask me one of my favorite Apocalypse stories, this will always be one of them. So, pretty cool. And then I have Astonishing X-Men #1 over there in the corner. Okay? With that being said, you know how we do on the Direct Edition. Let's pay some bills. And this episode of Direct Edition is brought to you by my Fake Darth Maul from China. Alright, so you know how we do. Let's get into some comics. Okay, so one of the first runs I wanted to show you was X-Men Die by the Sword. And this is done by Jelen Djurkovic. And it's also another one. I think his name is, I'm not sure what it is. It's like Mike Djurkovic or something like that. But I've always wondered, are they husband and wife? Because it's the same art style, looks like the same artist, but one is Jelen and the other is another name. But anyway, this is X-Men Die by the Sword, so I picked up #1. Very cool cover with Excalibur on the front. A cool #2. Please excuse the glare. That's the tape that I used to bag and board it, but that's Psylocke and her twin brother, um, Eddie Braddock, which is Captain Britain. It's a very cool #2. #3, Longshot and Dazzler. Look at that artwork, man. That's second to none. So that's #3. You have #4 with Captain Britain and his lion-like armor. So let's see if we got #5 to finish off this series. And we have a #5, which is Betty Braddock and Captain Britain again. So let's take a look at these beautiful Djurkovic covers. I'm glad to have this in my collection. If I can actually collect these a second time, I will. I love my doubles, and I also love doubles of runs. So, very cool covers, man. I really like these. Just show you the #2 cover one more time. All right, let's get into some more comics. So another run that I was able to pick up with beautiful artwork is Emperor Vulcan. I remember when this first came out, me and Comic Book Window went absolutely ape nuts over this. We giggled like dolphins, and we actually loved, the whole run up to this point, X-Men Emperor Vulcan. So I was blessed to pick up #1, and this is I think his name is Billy Tan. I don't think it's Philip Tan. I think it's Billy Tan. Let me make sure. Unfortunately, this is one of those stupid comic books that don't tell you, the first name of the artist, or not even the artist. It just tells who the inkers and the writers are and the editors. But I'm almost sure his name is, I don't want to say Billy Tan. I think it's Phillips Tan. But very cool cover, man. Nonetheless, definitely love Emperor Vulcan, and you got Havoc. Finally has his front and center, and you have Rachel Gray, Polaris, and you also have this new guy with the huge Phoenix sword. I think his name was like Corzar or something like that. But anyway, love the Starjammers. Definitely love this story, man. I definitely love this X-Men run that led up to Emperor Vulcan. So it's Emperor Vulcan 1 by Philip Tan. I was blessed to pick up number 2. That's Emperor Vulcan over the Mcron Crystal, which is very cool. Number 3 with the Shi'ar Guard in the background. Very cool. Gladiator is Marvel's Superman. So that's number 3. Number 4, which is one of my favorite covers, that is Rachel Gray, with the Phoenix Force behind her. Definitely love that one. And lastly, number 5, with two brothers fighting against each other. You have Havoc facing off against Emperor Vulcan. So, man, I definitely love this time in the X-Men run, and I definitely, was glad to have second copies of this Emperor Vulcan. I'm also very glad to have second copies of Die by the Sword. Those two runs I've already had, but me, I'm a comic book hoarder, and if I get a chance to pick up a run again for very cheap, then I will. And to let you know, all these cost me 50 cents to do the run again. So why not? So very cool cover, man. Philip Tan actually is a bad artist. I wanted to say badass, but I guess I'll say it now. He's a badass artist. So let's take a look at all the covers again. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 by Philip Tan, and these are very cool covers, man. I definitely love them. Definitely glad to have the complete set again in my collection. And there you go. Let's keep going. Ooh, that glare is serious on this one. And this is the X-Men one shot that I picked up. I already have the trade, but I definitely had to pick this up again. I definitely love my endangered species story. Beast kind of was a beast, no pun intended, in this book. He actually was searching for the cure for M-Day that took away all the mutants' powers. So this is a very cool book to have, the one shot. And if you're able to, collect all the X-Men books with the little snippets in the back of it of endangered species, more power to you. I think I have all of them, but it is what it is. Very cool cover. All right, let's get into some Spider-Man comic books. So this is Spider-Man team up with Thunderbolts. This is from 1997 when I really wasn't collecting at all. And I think these comic books are a little bit wacky between 1996 and 1997. Um, but I did pick this up because I thought it was cool, and it was only for 50 cents. So uh, there you have it. So we also have the Untold Stories of Spider-Man. This is a wraparound cover, annual. And I'm going to go ahead and open up the wraparound cover for you guys to actually see. Well, you know what? I'll just show you the back of it. It has the Fantastic Four. It has Iron Man. That looks like the X-Men back there. Daredevil. That's cool. It's called the Untold Tales You'll Never See, and just pretty good, pretty cool, man. And it also has a gallery of villains in it. So it's a very cool pickup, and this is actually a newsstand. So definitely glad to have this in my collection. So I also picked up this Spider-Man saga, which is very cool. This is first of a 4 collector's items issue. So I thought it was pretty cool. Definitely like to have my Spider-Mans in my collection. And yeah, So another book I picked up was Spider-Man: Dead Man's Hand. This is from 1997. This is number one. I'm sure there's more books that follow behind this, but I was glad to at least pick up this one. And yeah, really like the cover, man. Very cool. So before Frank Cho became very famous with Liberty Meadows and also with Harley Quinn variants, he did a couple of the New Avengers and also the Mighty Avengers, and this is one of the covers that he did. He actually has an initiative cover with, I think it might be, I think it's a Sentry, Tigra, and also Black Widow on the front cover. I keep running across it, but I never pick it up. But this time I'm gonna go ahead and pick it up next time I see it. Might pick up two copies, but definitely love this Frank Cho cover. It's very cool. Like I said, a lot of people sleep on it, and if you didn't know, this is one of the Frank Cho covers I think you should pick up. Very cool, man. Mighty Avengers Initiative. I'm absolutely a '90s kid, so definitely got to pick up the New Warriors number one newsstand. Even though that these characters didn't, do too much besides Nova and maybe Speedball, or but and I think Firestar, she goes way back to the Spider-Man cartoon. That's when she was introduced, Spider-Man and his friends, and then she later became a comic book adaptation. But before, she was just created for the cartoon. But definitely, man, New Warriors number one. This is around like 1991. Definitely a '90s kid. So when I see a first appearance or like number one, I'm definitely gonna pick it up. Even though this group kind of didn't do a whole lot, you know. So there you have it. Pretty cool, huh? If you want to know my favorite Avengers West Coast, this is the one. This is Avengers West Coast versus the Fantastic Four. And I remember when I was a little kid, I remember seeing this in the comic book shop window, and I definitely had to have it. That's Thundra and another guy in the background. I forget his name, but he was in the X-Men cartoons. He had actually manipulated Storm in the X-Men cartoon. But this is a giant size blockbuster. One of my first comic books that I've ever owned, and I will always pick it up, anytime I see it. Matter of fact, his name is Archon. So it says Pawns of Archon and Thundra. So very cool, man. Definitely love this cover, and like I said, it's one of my first comic books that I ever owned, and I was glad to go ahead and repurchase it. Plus, you see, thing actually choking out Tony Stark, so that's very cool. But there you have it. Another Avengers West Coast cover that I love is this one with Wolverine. It almost looks like he's jumping off the page, so that's very cool. I love when an artist can actually draw in 3D instead of 2D. So it's very cool. Then you also have Wonder Woman, Wonder Woman, yeah, Wonder Man, and you also have Scarlet Witch behind them. So I thought this was very cool. So this is West Coast Avengers, number 87, Brown Pants Wolverine. So rarely do I like covers with Kang the Conqueror on the front. I really don't like him as a villain, but he's actually grown on to me as I've gotten older. And I just love this Avengers cover. This is Avengers number 54, but it's really like 469. And it's a very cool cover. It's like after September 11th because you actually have the September 11th logo on there. And Kang has actually grown on me. I actually like him now as a villain. And this is a newsstand. So you want to see some more cool Avengers covers? You want me to take you back in the day? You ready to go back to the future, or back to the future, back to the past? All right, let's go. All right, back in the days when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore, but some days I sit and wish I was a kid again. Now, look at these Avenger covers, man. The one in the middle, you have what his name was, Black Knight versus Captain America. The gold cover, you have I think her name was Ceres. She's actually like the Inhuman that actually joined the Avengers. And you have Black Knight. Looks like Hercules. I really can't see that good because it's the foil cover, but I do know that on that copper cover, not copper, shoot, what do you want to call it? Platinum cover. That is, what's his name? Shoot, Dupree from the X-Men. What is his name? Exodus. That's his name. I'm almost sure that's Exodus on the front cover. And you know, Exodus is pure bad. Uh, I said it 3 times. This will be my third time saying this video. He's a complete badass. So I took you back in the days, man. Like, these covers are very cool. The only thing I don't like about these covers is it's very hard to collect them without spine ticks. You're just gonna have spine ticks if you want to collect these like foil type of covers, because it doesn't matter if you open them, if you sit them down gently, they just collect ticks like left and right. So it's almost impossible for you to collect these without ticks. But I got one more surprise for you. Okay? Bam, and here it is. Vision, the copper cover. So very cool, man. So this is Avengers. The silver one is 363. The one in the middle is 360. And the platinum one is 369. So I guess from 360 up to 360 or 370, they did, different foil covers. But now I'm on the hunt for them because I darn sure don't see them never at dollar bins. So definitely want to get more of these in my collection. But like I said, you can't be extreme collector like me because you're going to be disappointed every time because these attract ticks like a dog. All right. So we're at the point of the video where you ask me, hey, Fred Hall Direct Edition, what are you reading right now? And this is actually what I'm reading right now. This is the Ultimatum Companion. And it's a huge, like 300, 400 pager. And the funny thing about this is everybody hates Ultimatum. And this is the backstory. So it's a very slow paced book, but it's still worth my pickup because I think I only picked it up for about $6, and that's including shipping. So very cool. David Finch cover, that is Magneto's hand with all the ultimate heroes falling out of it. So here's a cool look at the front of the book. And here's a cool look at the back of the book with Magneto, with the world in his hand. In Ultimatum, Magneto actually flooded New York, flooded half the world. He actually took the world off its axis or something like that, and basically, destroyed a lot of humanity. So it was very cool, but it was very quickly put together. There was a lot of unnecessary death in it. But the sweet spot in the book is that David Finch actually drew it. So very cool. So here's a cool look at the back of the book. All right, so let's get into your main events. So I'm scrolling through all the books in Second and Charles, and I run across the Deadpool section. And I see this book for $9, and I'm like, eh, you know, it is number one in his first solo series, but yeah, Then I keep digging, and then I run across one for $1. So I got this one for $1. This is Deadpool number one. Very cool, man. Definitely glad to have this in my collection. This is a direct edition. And what more can I say, man? I love this book. And the cool thing about this book is the Deadpool lettering is and his actual image is actually protruding off the page, which is very cool. So for $1, why not? This is like a $10 to $15 book, maybe 20. You won't even believe that I bought this book for $1.25, but this is Spider-Man Unlimited. This is Maximum Carnage Begins Here. This is number one. Let's see what year it is. 1993. So I think I'm a lucky son of a gun to get this book for so cheap. And I'm very humbled and very glad to have this in my collection. So there you have it. And your last main event, since DC Comics didn't get too much love in this video, is Justice Society of America. This is number 26 from 2009. And the reason why I love this book is because I've seen a lot of people show off Alex Ross covers, but I haven't seen this one in anybody's video. And even if even if you have, kudos to you, but this reminds me a lot of The Watchmen. So I definitely love this book, man. I think this book is very cool, and I'm definitely glad to add this to my collection. And I only bought it for $1.25, so I thought that was worth it. What more can I say about this beautiful, beautiful Alex Ross cover? And so, once again, I'd like to thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Direct Edition. The channel is Fred Hall Direct Edition. Remember, words of wisdom. Focus on the ones that show you love, and then the ones that don't show you love, hey, we're going to forget about them and keep rolling. You guys be safe out there, and I will catch you girls and guys later. Peace.